Today, you will be able to apply laws of logic to make conclusions. How many people have done hypothesis and conclusions in science? If-then statements, yes, it's very similar. So, in this, a conditional statement is an if-then statement you should be writing. An if-then statement. That's what a conditional statement is, because there's a condition. If this happens, then this will happen. Okay, conditional. For example, if I pass my driver's test, then I will get my license. Okay? Another example. If it is light out, it is daytime.
It's been very bright out at night before.
Okay, those are both, okay, so these are both if-then statements, conditional statements. Hypothesis. Shh. Which part of the conditional statement is the hypothesis, the guess? What would you say?
If.
The if part. The if part of a conditional statement. The if part. Well, if that's the case, then what part is the conclusion?
The then part.
That's right.
What?
See how smart you guys are?
Thanks.
Oh, that's what.
The then part. Makes kind of sense. If you're guessing something, then this happens. This is the conclusion. All right. Here's what you're going to be doing in some of your homework. You're going to be taking a statement and writing it as an if-then. So this says all DHS students go to Dexter Community Schools. So I can make that into an if-then by saying if you go to DHS, then you attend DCS, Dexter Community Schools. Not too bad. Not too shabby, right?
Not too shabby at all. Is that it?
Oh, no.
Oh, come on. Why do we have to do other
No.
I'll give you whoops.
If Michigan beats OSU in football,
I don't like those.
then Mrs. Burgess won't care.
Michigan.
I just don't get the appeal of sitting crammed in a big...
They make it nice.
All right, Casey, if you want to, how would you write that as an if-then statement?
If you are a geometry student, then you were a math student.
Or are a math student. Very good. Yep, very good. If you are
Okay.
a geometry student, save it, because you're going to have to write a couple for your homework anyway.
Oh, good. Will it have to be like anything I just make up or not?
Mm,
So I can be like,
it's got to be somewhat true.
Then I can use them for my.
All right. The law of detachment. Laws of logic. There's some laws that we have to follow. Yeah, in these if-then statements. If the hypothesis of an if-then statement is true, then the conclusion is also true. Basically, if they say this true if-then statement, then we have to assume that both parts are true, if they use that word true in there. They're explaining it as true. If the measure, for example, here's one that's, if the measure of two angles adds to 180, then they are supplementary. If, then. So then they give us this information. What can we conclude, if anything? Well, they're giving me two angles, and we're talking about 180 here, so I think I'm going to try and add it up and see what I get. 65 plus 115, what does that equal? What's that equal? 180. Oh, wait a minute. If that's a true statement, then what can I conclude from this if-then statement? That they are supplementary. So I could say then angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary. Yeah. We can conclude that Olivia will go to the movies. That costs a lot of money.
Yeah, I know.
We can conclude that she will go to the movies. How do you like this so far? No algebra involved, no real numbers. It is a lot of writing. Your homework is a lot of writing, I'm just saying. That one doesn't work so good either.
Yeah, I don't like the sound of that.
Okay. Kyle plays Madden 11 every Saturday night. Madden 11. Okay, make it 12 if you want. All right? Kyle is playing Madden 10. What can you conclude, if anything?
That he doesn't like advancements. It's not Saturday.
The only problem with saying that is we don't know if maybe Kyle's playing 12 and 10 on Saturday night. We don't know that, so we can't say it's not Saturday.
He decided
Can we?
to give a different go at it.
Can we conclude anything?
No.
Not really. So you have to be careful with this one. We can't conclude nothing because Madden 10 is not Madden 11 or 12, whatever you guys want to write.
Or 15.
All right, law of syllogism. Everybody say it, syllogism.
Syllogism.
Okay. Let me write it down and then I'll explain it. Don't go, huh? Okay, until I'm done. You need to write it down too.
Okay.
If P, then Q. That's a Q, not an 8. If Q, then R. And both of these statements are true. So let's think about this. If P is something that happens, then Q happens, some situation. But then they're saying, okay, well then if Q happens, then R happens. Can we conclude anything from this? What do you think? What do you think, Brad? Yeah. If this happens, then this happens. If that happens, then that also happens. That means that these two things must happen. Okay? So this means that, so if P, then R would also be true. Okay? Now, what statements, if any, can you make from the flow of logic in these examples? So the flow of logic is when they're throwing out some if-then statements. It says, if you take English at DHS, you will read To Kill a Mockingbird. If you read To Kill a Mockingbird, then you will have read one of Mrs. Burgess's favorite books. So yeah, we have P and Q, and then we have Q and R, don't we? Just like up here. So I can say then, if you take English at DHS, then you will read one of Mrs. Burgess's favorite books.
That's sad.
I do like it. It's a good book. Okay?
Let me see.
All right. So, do you see how that works? Sort of.
Yeah.
All right, let's do another one. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the same order. Okay, watch this. If it is Thursday night, then Alicia will watch The Office.
Sure.
If it is Thursday night, then Alicia will have geometry homework. Now, it's a little bit out of order, but it's still two conditional statements, and we can match something up out of here. What can we match up?
That the office is on his weekend at Tuesday.
What kind of homework will she have?
Geometry homework,
So we could actually say if she is watching The Office, then what?
she will do her homework while she's
Which homework?
her geometry.
Okay.
Why do you have to be so specific?
Because when you're writing proofs, you got to be very specific. It's a good question.
She's doing her best.
If she is watching The Office, then she will be doing geometry homework. Okay, now for your homework,